Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the next of our PA Forum interviews with our West Midlands PA Awards winners. And today I am delighted to be joined by Keely Thomas, who is Business Support and Improvement Manager from the West Midlands Combined Authority, who was winner of the Secretarial Manager of the Year category last year and is also representing the internal PA network at the Combined Authority, which is called the PA cohort. So it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you today, Keely. How have you been? How have you been doing?
I'm good, thank you. Very, very good. Obviously, in the new world of working, it's all a little bit crazy, becoming virtual assistants overnight and virtual managers and working from all over the country. But it's been absolutely brilliant and embraced and still absolutely thrilled with regards to our award. So yes, and hoping to get nominations in for this year.
Awesome. Oh, that would be brilliant. Well, I just wanted to, for the purpose of people watching today, tell us a little bit of background about you. So tell us about your kind of career so far in a snapshot and how you kind of got to working where you are today.
Okay, so I started off as a debt collector, believe it or not knocking on doors, cold calling. And I worked for a big international bank, so very, very corporate, and worked through my career. So I think I was about 9 years in the bank, and then moved to an office manager sort of role within a housing and land group. And then stumbled across the role at the Combined Authority. First public sector job I'd ever had. Again, bit of a mismatch role profile on what I was going to actually do. And then have just built up my career from there. So when I started at the Combined Authority, there were 2 PAs, and there is now over 25 that I have a dotted line into for support, for development, for bringing them together as a group of people. And then I sort of have my own hat where I PA and I manage a group of administrators as well. So a bit of jack of all trades is what I do.
I think it's really interesting. A lot of you that I've spoken to at the Combined Authority have come from such different backgrounds in
Yeah.
terms of a lot of people haven't been a PA
No,
before, or they've come into from a completely different industry, completely different profession. I think it's really refreshing that you've managed to grow a team from 2 to 25.
yeah.
That's fantastic. And so I guess throughout that stage, you've had such a massive role to play in all of that as well.
Massively, yeah, and there's such a great group of people. Like you've said, we've got somebody who is fluent in German and has got a politics background. We've got somebody who's trained to be a barrister. We've then got somebody who worked in the prison service, somebody who used to manage a pub. We've got all sorts of people, and actually I think that's what makes our cohort so great, is the fact that we've got such a variety: men, women, mixture of cultures, mixture of backgrounds, mixture of beliefs, all of that stuff, which actually means that we've got a really well-rounded view on most topics. So yeah, it's a really good cohort. It really is.
Fantastic. So I'm just interested when you're recruiting,
Yep.
and you hear that someone's come from, a background working in the prison service or
Yep.
a background working at a restaurant or a bar in hospitality, or, I guess would you say that you're more focused on the person and
Yep.
what they can bring? Because the skills are, you can give people opportunities to train and learn those skills, but are you mostly focusing on the core of what that person's, um, aura is really about their personality, what they can add to the team?
Yeah, so for me, the team always laugh because I love a wild card. Probably because I was a wild card myself completely going into this role. I absolutely love a wild card. And every interview that I do, I throw a couple of wild cards in there as well. We've got some really long-standing PAs. One of our PAs went to, original secretary school, shorthand, 30 years of being just that. But I always look at what other skills people can bring in. So again, being in the prison service, you've got to have really good diplomatic skills there, diffusing situations, if you've customer service, if you've ran a restaurant, those sort of things, shorthand, all of those kind of stuff, organizations. We had somebody who was a party planner. So all of those kind of things bring a well-rounded, and I know I've said it before, but a well-rounded vision to what our cohort does.
Yeah.
And again, just a different way of looking at our approach, of standardizing things, of making things better, which we've done a lot of, and we obviously bought into our nomination around just improving the way that we do things.
Fantastic. I love it. Fantastic story. It's great. And I'm still yet to meet so many of you.
I know.
And every time we speak, you're always growing, which is fantastic and really positive thing to see during these times as
Yeah.
well. So this is our 4th year now for the awards. So have you heard about it before and thought, okay, I've heard about that, or not quite sure whether I'd want to enter, because so many people I talk to, I have conversations daily, and I would probably say out of 10 conversations, one person will feel, oh, I'm going to go for it this year. Actually, I'm gonna really go for it. Or some people will say, I don't know how I'd feel if I got nominated, whether I'd want to go through the process, because I don't want to be in the limelight. I don't want the light shining on me. And that's the whole reason why we do it. And I know some people don't feel comfortable with that, but had you heard about the awards before, and how did you get to the stage where you thought, okay, that's it, we're going to go for it this year?
Okay, so I think when again, so I've worked in the command authority. I think we're coming into my 5th year now. So to start off with, it was just around finding our feet, and again, we hadn't fully grown. And then when I heard about the sort of, I knew there was forums out there and things like that. But again, I'm the first to admit I'm absolutely rubbish at networking. It's not my greatest skill in any way, shape, or form. And a couple of the girls and the guys had sort of said, what about this? What about that? And we'd done a bit of research. And then we thought, do you know what? Actually, let's throw ourselves into it. And when we saw the categories, actually, we felt quite strongly about the categories, because it wasn't just best PA, best secretary, best whatever. Actually, it was really quite specific categories, which we really liked. So that made us decide to throw ourselves into it. And actually, it was something to pull us all together. What have we done? A good thing of reflection. We talked a lot about in our nomination that we'd had an external trainer come in to pull us together as a cohort, because we've expanded so quickly, and it just felt like the right time and the right categories for us to put ourselves forward.
Fantastic. And so, do you put that together as a team? What about for your category, for the team manager category?
So my category came around as a bit of a side thing. Again, not one to sort of blow my own trumpet in the limelight. We looked at the PA cohort network category, and then somebody said to me, well, why don't you go for the Secretarial Team Manager of the Year? And I was like, but I'm not really, but I kind of am, but I don't really know. And then when I sort of read it, I thought, do you know what? Actually, although I don't have direct line management responsibility any longer of the PAs, and I did, it again seemed to fit. And in all honesty, it was a complete stab in the dark. It was a wing it. Let's just see. And then the more I read about it, and the more it made me feel like, actually, let's give it a go. And my line manager at the time put my basic nomination together, and then I added on to it, and the cohort again was sort of pushing me along to go into it. So it just came about as a bit of a add-on to the original nomination, but I'm so glad that we did it now. And
Yeah.
again, this year, hopefully we'll have a few more, and I've heard rumblings that they're putting different nominations in for things. So yes, it's good.
No, fantastic. And I think that's the thing, is that you could sometimes, I think when you're writing a nomination, you don't realize until that time all the different things that you've done. And when you sit back and you think, it was a bit of a challenge last year, because we called it Secretarial Team Manager,
Yep.
but like with the PA and the EA profession, there's so many different job
Yep.
titles. So it could be business support managers, team leaders, team managers, secretarial managers,
Yep.
admin assistant team leaders. It could be so many different roles. So when we thought of that, but it's, as you say, it's the criteria when you start to read it and think, actually, yeah, this one I'm going to really go for. So but what I think is great is that seemed to be like a really good vibe around the office and the office environment at the time when you were doing all of that. And I think,
Yeah.
you know, you said you've had external trainers before, but if that's something that's helped to bring you all together, then that's just a great thing for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you feel when you found out that you'd been nominated, you'd been shortlisted? What was it like? Because at the time, were you still in the office together?
So I think we were probably just on our way out of the office, probably. So again, busy environment, lots going on. And then it was like, oh, an email's pinged in, and oh yeah, I'll get round to that. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, do you know this? Do you know that? And all of a sudden on our kind of Teams chat, we've been shortlisted. Oh, so and so's been shortlisted. And then it's just a bit like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? So everybody was kind of talking about it. And again, to be honest, I think I was more focused on the PA cohort, and so proud that they'd got through and finding out who was going to do what stage and stuff like that. I don't think, again, I really thought about myself, which was again quite exciting, figuring out what they were going to do and how they were going to put forward and getting the dates in the diary, again being such a big cohort. Who wants to jump in, who's a bit more shy, how can they get involved behind the scenes. And then we sort of announced it to the business, and it went out in our sort of internal newsletter. And again, that was such a good, credible thing for the cohort and for people in the business to see. And again, the leadership team talking about it and stuff like that. So when we were shortlisted, it was then kind of, okay, well, what happens now then? And
Yeah.
again, when you put in a nomination, you sort of put the nomination in, and then it kind of goes to the back of your mind, doesn't it? And because we all had COVID and things sort of slowed down a little bit, as you know, with the forum, and you were all in the planning stages of all of that kind of stuff, it sort of fell to the wayside. And then it was all a bunch of excitement again on how are we going to deliver this, and what do we do virtually to put together a really good presentation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's the thing as well. What I love to hear from that is that that when you're thinking about the people that are going to do the interviews with when they do meet the panel,
Yeah,
the initial panel, and then the judges, is who's going to do that, and also pushing people out of their comfort zone just slightly to get them involved with that. And I imagine that on the lead up to those days when they're having their interviews, or all the team supporting everybody, and then straight afterwards where they're like, when you go for a job interview and you come
yeah.
out and you ring your mate and you're like, oh my god, I think that went really well, but I wish I'd have said that, and I don't know whether I'm going to get it, and all that kind of stuff. Was there all that kind of chat going on?
Yeah, definitely. So in our Teams chat, because by the time we got to the interviews, we were all virtual. So we had a Teams chat saying, oh, these are the questions that were going to be asked. Oh, these are the panel members. Obviously, you do your LinkedIn searching, don't you? See whether you can get on anyone's good side. All of those kind of things. And then again, playing on the skills of the cohort, who like to answer the more professional questions and who wants to bring the fun element. So if anybody saw our interview and any of our panelists, we did a rap for to bring our creative side in. A couple of the team wrote a rap, and one of our more confident members of the team delivered the rap. And again, it's just that really sort of fun element of making yourself stand out. So my interview, I actually did in Barclays Bank car park in Stratford upon Avon because I was on annual leave, really stressing about the Wi-Fi. So I hacked into Barclays Bank Wi-Fi. Don't repeat that. And those kind of things, my kids were hiding in the back of the car and all of that kind of stuff, because there's the excitement, but you've also got your day job and family life and everything else. And that's how I presented my interview. Was there's a small part of me that is Secretarial Team Manager of the Year, which I am, and then all of the other parts that come into me. So yeah, the excitement and the putting it together and the buzz in the virtual office obviously just felt as real as it would have if we weren't.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think as well, it's like, as you say, if we would book a hotel and we'd have one day and we would do interview, but never did we do, if somebody couldn't make the interview, we would try our hardest to reschedule them. So the judges would stay overnight sometimes, and we might be able to squeeze them in the next morning, or we might have been on a conference call. But now
Yeah.
it's opened up the whole world. No, we would have hated it if you'd have had missed your interview for other reasons, but more important reasons, obviously. But you know, if you'd have lost the chance to have that interview, you might not have got through to the next stage, and you might not have
100%.
won. And so, you know, we've got to take the silver linings and the blessings that we can from
Yeah.
such a difficult situation. I think having that flexibility has obviously really helped. So
Yeah,
anyone,
definitely.
internal PA networks, you know, we're doing, I know that you were really keen for us to have a meeting and meet some of the other leaders, which is fantastic. And we were orchestrating that meeting in the next couple of weeks. But, you know, I fully appreciate how challenging sometimes it can be, particularly trying to get buy-in from people. It can be quite difficult to maintain interest. It can be quite difficult to, you know, if you want to try and do something, whether everybody wants to do it and how you get those decisions and plan ahead with what you're doing. There's so many things that go into an internal PA network.
Yeah.
But for you, you know, I think when you came across with your interview is really about how you blended and worked together so well, and how you've increased obviously all of the different things that you've done with the network. So if anyone was watching this and they thought, you know, you've got an internal PA network of 25, there could be an internal PA network of 3, or there could
Yeah.
be an internal PA network of 100 or 150. If anyone's watching this and they thought, what sort of things were included on when you were talking about the network, could you kind of let people know about some of those things?
Yeah, so originally the network just started from needing to standardize what we do in the office, from the way that we kind of answer the telephone, sign off emails, right the way through to just building our knowledge within the team. So the kind of things that we sort of look at are all of those, but also cross network support. So if somebody's on annual leave, to make sure there's consistency of service. That's one of the reasons we pulled the cohort together. Another huge thing that we've been utilized as a cohort for is the golden thread of communication within the team. So PAs are your gatekeepers, your custodians into your leadership team, but they also have a lot of knowledge within the business. So, for example, unfortunately, we had an ICT error which took out our whole network. I told all of the PAs, 25 PAs, within about 15 minutes, everybody in the business knew, because they could text people, they could Teams people. Same with if we've got anything urgent kind of coming up, or we need to get a message, mandatory training, the PAs know about it first, and that is key within the business. The PAs also do a lot of our system testing, they do a lot of our training. So actually, if we're going to have a launch of Teams, for example, the PAs know about it first, they get trained on it first, then it can filter down to the teams. It means you touch everybody without having to do regular training slots with IT or this or that, and they give the more personal approach as well. So that's what we've used our network for, is to make sure that corporate messaging goes out in the same way. Everybody knows what word of mouth, hearsay can be like within the business. Oh, did you know so and so? It's like a controlled gossip mechanism. That is the best way of describing it. I've got
I
25
absolutely love
people.
that.
I've got 25 people within the business that can filter down the right gossip, not the wrong gossip, the right gossip. So that's what we use our network for, and the leadership can use it as well. So if Deborah's got a message, our chief executive, she filters it through the PAs, the message gets out and it's one version of the truth. Again, the PAs do all sorts of things like events planning, sharing best practices. We've got a folder where we stuff all of our stuff that's useful information, contact details. Have you ever spoke to so-and-so? Down to really little things. We might have a visitor, a VIP visitor. Does anybody know what they drink? We already know that information. So it means our customer service is so enhanced over other companies. And that is a pride of ours. That's what Deborah said to us when we first started the cohort. I want to be the best combined authority, and I want you to be the best PA network. And I know it sounds really silly, but Daniel, if somebody had have met you and when you come in, they know that you have a G&T, brilliant, great. You don't, it just makes you feel more special, doesn't it?
I
So it's
think
those
that's
kind of things.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations, because like I say, going from two PAs in the company to 25
yeah,
and building that, momentum, and it's challenging for people coming into a business where there's a really established PA network and they're trying to get involved and they need to get to know everybody. So you've really covered all the bases, and I think it just sounds fantastic. And obviously, to blend that in with your nomination for the Secretarial Team
yeah,
Manager of the Year award, you have been such a, the internal PA network is a group and it's a team thing, of course, but you've been so integral in setting up that network, haven't you?
yeah,
And making sure that it runs well, and that everyone gets looked after and everyone's got everything that they need. So I know how passionate you are about that.
yeah.
And that, I think, with the two applications, that really blended well through to your Secretarial Team Manager one as well, because we could just see how passionate you were about that.
Thanks.
So when we go through, so obviously we had the night, it was virtual, it
Yep.
wasn't in. Have you ever been to the
No,
actual live ones?
no.
No.
I don't think I want to now because it was brilliant. I got to sit at home in my slippers with my pop rock on.
So what did you think of the night? Because I mean, virtual events, we've all been
Yeah,
doing things from organising quizzes and drinks online and networking and stuff like that. And I've got to admit, when I watched it, I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near what it was. I was quite pleasantly surprised. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I think I had this vision in my mind, and I'm used to Zoom and Teams, and that's kind of what I thought it was
yeah.
going to end up being, but it just ended up being something completely different. So what did you enjoy it?
Yeah, definitely. So again, like you said, virtual event, not sure, feel like a bit of a fool dressing up in me living room or whatever. But actually, again, people not so sold on it, and then we had people that wanted to come and join in. So I think we had probably about 10 of us on the call, and one of our senior leaders come on the call as well to the awards themselves. I did dress up, I did wear my slippers, and again, just we had our own sort of chat going on, and then all the general chat of the awards, which was really, really good. Being able to see each other, it was brilliant. The fact that there was elements where you just sort of watched, but you could still chat, where you could kind of still have a separate Teams chat, obviously if you're clever enough to do all the technology. And for me it worked really well, and obviously we had the beautiful boxes that came from Tory, which was absolutely amazing. And apart from genuinely traveling to the venue, it didn't really feel like anything was missed. Everything was all encompassed. You had your treats there. And another thing, so my husband was with me on the call as well, which again was really nice.
So I
And
guess if
just
you'd have gone to that, it might be that you had a table of 10 and it might just be your colleagues, but I guess your husband was part of that
yeah,
room as well, wasn't he?
yeah, which again was really nice, and the fact that we did all the, I'm not a big user, again, terrible at networking of the social media sort of side of things, but I really bought into, and I desperately wanted to win that one picture competition. I got up on my breakfast bar and everything. But it just, I'm not a massive drinker either, so being at home was comfortable for me, and again, not networking. So I think that sort of element gave me a bit more confidence. Again, I possibly, being 100% honest, would have shied away from going to the actual event, just my natural personality, and then I would have been gutted if I'd have won and not attended. So again, I just think the way that you did it incorporates everybody and how they might feel it, individuals' anxieties, etc., and stuff like that. And once you've done a virtual event, some of the people that now I've met through the network, I'd feel more confident to actually go to a proper event now and not walk in and think, oh God, who is everybody? So I thought it was absolutely amazing. We videoed it, we got involved in the socials, we did the recording that you sent. Again, the business put on our intranet page so people could view it afterwards. I think it was amazing. I think it was so well done. And again, apart from being able to smell and touch people, I don't think we missed out on any of the other sensory elements to the event. So I think it was
Oh,
brilliant. I genuinely think
especially
it was brilliant.
at the end of the night, smelling and touching somebody.
I know, yeah.
I forget what that's like, actually. But I think, no, I think, and that's great. And I think, you know, when we were catching up just before this interview, what I think is, again, for me as an organizer, and the reason I do this is because, you know, when I hear things like that, that it's helped and supported with your confidence.
Yeah.
And it's helped and supported you with your networking skills, and it's
Yeah.
helped and supported bring the teams together. That is ultimately why we do this, you
Yeah.
know, and it's to be able to celebrate and recognize people for all their incredibly hard work, but also some you know, feeling of self-achievement, a feeling of, yes, I've done that and I'm really
Yeah.
proud of it, you know. So congratulations to
Thank
you
you.
and the team. I have got your trophies here as well, which is great. So, you know, I didn't want to post these out to you,
No, yeah.
because we are going to have an event in the city to give these trophies to you, have all your photos taken, but we want to wait for a time when you know, if
Yeah.
not, I know the whole team would be difficult to get everybody together, but you can get quite a few people there and they can have some
Yeah.
pictures with it, divide them into 2 groups or whatever we can do. But I just feel like it'd be really great to do that and share that with you and have
Oh
that
no,
moment again.
definitely. Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I might have to buy a cabinet if we win this year as well.
Brilliant. Well, with that in mind, and now kind of final question before we wrap up. So, anyone who's sitting here now
Yeah,
and might have watched this and thought, "Oh, I've been really inspired by Keely's interview today,"
yeah.
or and the people that might not have seen, you know, might not have seen this and see this at a later date, what would you say to them?
So I think it is about putting yourself out there 1,000%. So my confidence level in what I do wasn't necessarily 100% there. I just do my job, crack on, you know, and never really took the time to give myself a pat on the back or think I could be recognised or actually ever really sat down and thought about what I do and actually the achievements I've made. And as you've said, Dan, the cohort is my baby. Do you know what I mean? From zero to what it is now, and the stuff that we do in the combined authority. And it is about putting yourself out there and about having the confidence. And don't necessarily just read the title of the award, read the category as well. Because actually you can fit a lot into differing categories and things like that. And I would say to any sort of network of people as well, you know, I know Danny's helping orchestrate get more people together, but regardless of what you do or how big or how small your network is, you will have an impact, and it is just about thinking what your impact is. And for any secretarial team managers, office managers, that those sort of things, just to pause and think about the impact again that you've had on the business, and what you actually do that isn't just your day job. It's not just about going above and beyond, but actually sometimes just doing your day job is what's needed within a business.
Yeah, 100%. Wow, what great advice. And Keely, as always, very inspiring to be able to talk to you. You know, really, you know, want to share my congratulations with you and the team. It's been a pleasure to share this journey with you. And it's
Thank
brought
you.
us, you know, our relationship. You know, we're catching up a lot now. It's just really nice to be able to spend some time with you and the team. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. We cannot wait to see you soon.
Yes, thank you very much, Dan.
No
Thank you to all the
worries.
forum.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching today. See you soon. Bye.